your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls, it's time for MinneZona Sports, live with DJ Matty C. and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back. Yes, episode 113. Yeah, 113. We're on 113 episodes of MinneZona, and we are back with another episode, because why the heck not? But without further ado, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way from Woods and Shore Studios in Aiken, Minnesota, Paul Vold, Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
It is Wednesday night. It's been a week. I'll tell you that much. It's been a week. It's been a week and a half. My voice is finally starting to come back. Happy early Canada Day to everybody up north. But I'm feeling pretty good right now. Looking forward to another great show as always.
You know it. And yeah, like you said, it's been a long week, but we're here. We're happy.
Yeah.
We're good. We're feeling good. And we got some fun things to talk about. So we're going to start with some breaking news. It's somewhat breaking, about an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was. Back, what happened with the Wild trade happening. And then we're going to be talking about the Vikings. Training camp is upon us, people. It is coming. And Twins pitching coach just leaves. Just up and goes to LSU, apparently.
See ya.
Well, that's Twins' way of how it goes. But tonight we have an exciting Where Are They Now? Just to show you what we got. Oh, two guys that I hope that some of the zoners remember. Rayedwards, Craigbreslow. Both are Rayedwards from the Minnesota Vikings, former defensive end, and Craigbreslow, former pitcher for your Minnesota Twins. So we got that going on for us tonight, and of course ARA, Shield Shoutouts, the whole kit and caboodle. But I say we get it going right away with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
You know, usually we'd start off with, the first story. But we're going to start off with the breaking news here tonight. The Minnesota Wild have traded KevinFiala, restricted free agent, by the way, he was going to be, to the Los Angeles Kings. In exchange, the Wild, they definitely get their first-round pick, so that's a good news out of it. And then also, former University of Minnesota defenseman, and it was, defensive for the L.A. Kings. What's his first name, Voldy? Tell me.
Rock Favor.
So we're feeling good. We're feeling good about that. Voldy, I know he's a gopher. I know he's, but it's okay. It's good for the Wild. But what are your initial thoughts here on the trade? And zoners, please feel free to chime in as well.
I think we maybe saw this coming a little bit because I know the Wild were going to have to pay a pretty fancy fee in order to keep KevinFiala happy.
Yeah.
And I think the Wild are looking in a new direction, especially with Bill Guerin now another offseason where they did see some success. Unfortunately, not as deep into the postseason as they wanted to go. But, especially the way that KevinFiala played in the second half of the regular season in the last 15, 20 games, I think he definitely played up to the par where the Wild needed to get something good out of him. And I think they sold the stock as high as they could right now, getting a first-round pick and a top prospect. I think he's number 7 in the in the system for the Kings, and I think he's like the third best defenseman. A couple other guys were a couple of European guys, I think. But, obviously you get a Minnesota kid, too. I don't know if you saw on on social media or whatever that there's a picture of Brock Faber when he's sitting in the stands, like right on the glass, as Kirill Kaprizov scored a goal.
Yeah.
So, all right, going to be a little up close and personal for a second time around with Kirill the Thrill, hopefully this season or maybe in the near future with Brock Faber. With that being said, like I said, it was gonna be tough to re-sign him because the way that he's produced the last couple of years, and he got off to another slow start, but finished the season strong. KevinFiala was gonna get his money one way or another, whether it be at the Wild or somebody else. I think there are definitely a few interested teams, and now, well, basically they're the Kings' problem to deal with. Whether he has a good season or not, now it's going to be up to the Kings to make their own decision. So I think all in all, I want to say it was a win-win situation for both sides, but that is yet to be seen. And you get a first-round draft pick out of it, that's going to be a huge play for the Wild and try to build up the farm system a little bit more.
Yeah, and from what I understand, too, is that Faber is pretty good, was pretty good in juniors, I believe. Yeah. And, he's a guy that's going to create some offense for, he's a defenseman, but he's going to create some offense that we desperately need, I'd say. So that kind of fills somewhat of a need, develop and whatnot. Looks like Billy G was really happy with the trade as well. I believe he just recently just posted a video saying that he's thrilled and whatnot. So, hey, we just got to trust the process. And, I was kind of thinking that he was going to find a way to maybe, prove people wrong to hold on to Fiala. But with this deal, I think this makes sense. I think this helps not only the Wild in the long run, but also get some high-quality players. So we're feeling good about it. So, stamp of approval if we're doing
absolutely.
Easy A says, let's go Wild. Clap, 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 clap. So, let's go Wild. Still got a long ways before the next season starts.
Long ways to go.
But we will get there eventually. All right, Voldy, let's start off with our first story tonight. We haven't really been checking in on our beloved Minnesota Vikings, so we are tonight. A training camp is approaching, Voldy, and this one's going to be a little bit different than the other ones. No Mike Zimmer, no Slick Rick. It's Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell and the guys.
Yep.
So they got some new faces, a new scheme defensively, and also, different type of offense. Apparently not a run-first offense anymore, according to Justin Jefferson. That is confirmed. But, Voldy, as we look at this training camp, we went through the draft. There's been some good picks and whatnot.
Right.
But there's been some guys that I think are starting to turn some heads. One of those guys being Brian Asamoah from Oklahoma, the linebacker. Mm-hmm. We're feeling good about that. I mean, now remember, Stephon, and not saying, two different, player, or, offense, defense, but Stephon Diggs was a camp standout. And look where he's at now. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. So, this is good news. But let's first start off. There was an article that I was really interested in here. And what rookies do we think that are going to make the biggest impact? And I'm just going to read off the list and shout out to VikingsWireUSA.com. They had 3 here. So Ed Ingram is one.
Right.
I don't know if the legal stuff has been figured out and whatnot with his deal, but we'll definitely see. I bet you don't know this guy, though. Outside linebacker, I'm probably going to say this wrong, Luigi Villain. And if it's wrong, let me know. You can never have too many pass rushers, they say, and he is a Wake Forest prodigy, and he's got a lot of potential. And coming off the edge, he's going to be in a lot of blitz packages. So, hey, let's go. Right. Let's play. Keep an eye on him. We'll see. And then, obviously, the third one, Lewis Seen. That's pretty apparent as well. I think he's going to be week 1 starter next to Harry. So that'll be good. I kind of like what we got with Harry with Seen there. But Voldy, are there any other rookies that you are looking at that might make an impact here as well? What do you got?
I mean, yeah. I mean, looking at this list that we were just talking about too, these are some very interesting positions because we already know the whole guard situation. You know, if Ed Ingram gets his legal situation figured out, I feel like he could be an asset to the team, especially with preseason games being fewer and fewer. It seems like with each year,
Yeah.
going to be a lot of learning on the fly for him. Outside linebacker too, because they're going to have to spell a few guys here and there, especially adjusting to a new system. If a guy like Verlaine here is going to be coming into coming to the Vikings too, with I don't know if they ran a 3-4 defense at Wake Forest, but if he's an outside linebacker, he can certainly go get it as well, play coverage, or whether try to go get the quarterback too. With guys like Za'Darius and also Hunter too, that are probably going to be eased into things early on. But if Verlaine can hit the ground running, he's going to be a big help, especially maybe second, third down situations too, if they decide to bring more linebackers in. And then obviously we take a guy in the first round, he better have the biggest impact out of the ball
Yeah.
with Lewis Seen too out of Georgia, obviously playing in the big situations and playing, obviously for national championships and in a Power 5 conference like the SEC. You would certainly hope in his first year he would have an immediate impact, but a lot of those are going to be yet to be determined. But looking at the list that we're just going with too, and then you throw out like Brian Asamoah as well, certainly could have a very good look. But with training camp coming up here, and gosh, just a few weeks away here, there's going to be a lot of adjustments. Like we talked about, new general manager, new front office, new head coach as well. There are a lot of things that have still yet to be determined here, and you know what? Training camp is the time to start working out a lot of that stuff.
Definitely. And I kind of look at it from this, and a lot of people will be like, oh, you're reading way too much into it. They don't, usually the Vikings won't, these rookies won't make that much of an impact. Well, maybe they will, because let's backtrack here. Let's go to, was it 2012, I believe. The Vikings drafted Harrison Smith at the time. Now, this is at the time. Matt Khalil, okay, he had a very good rookie year. We can't dispute that.
After that?
Yeah, then it went down. But generally it went down. But we also drafted Blair Walsh, who also had one of his best rookie seasons, though. I mean, but later on that went down. But with that being said, could this be a really good rookie class? I think so. I mean, if people are saying that undrafted guys are like Verlaine are doing well, they're catching on quick. Asamoah, another standout in the offseason as well. Just think what they can do with when the pads go on, and their first padded practice is probably not till actually it might be like the 31st of July or something like that, or the 1st of August, and that's kind of when we'll see what they have and whatnot. But Asamoah is one guy I'll go over in a second. But I want people to kind of look at this guy, though. Jalen Naylor. Okay? He played for Michigan State. The guy he's speedy. He's a quick guy now. He's 5'11", 186 pounds. His 40-yard was 4.5. That's not bad. That's not too bad. He was picked in the 6th round. There's people saying his size isn't great and this and that, but his college career was very good, and I would say that he's a good route runner as well. And guess who else are good route runners? JJ. I have a feeling they're quite good. So I'm not going to say he's going to take the third wide receiver spot, because I think that rightfully goes to KJ Osborne, because KJ Osborne really turned it on these last year. But I just want people to look at him. I think he can be a camp standout if he's making a lot of plays. So watch out, Jalen Naylor. Okay. And then probably kind of an obvious one too. I'm not going to go with Seen here, because I believe Seen is going to make an impact no matter what. But let's go with Andrew Booth. Andrew Booth, I think, is going to have some developing to do. I think that where he was in the draft, I think he could have went higher. in my honest opinion, but I'm glad the Vikings got him when they did. The defensive backs right now with Pat Pete, he's getting older, but he's still effective. Let's not get that twisted either. So Pat Pete, you have some guys that, you add him into the mix with Andrew Booth because they really don't have anything after that besides Cam Dantzler, which I think he's still learning, but there's some progression. He's had some bumps in the road, especially in the Detroit game. But I think Booth can make an impact. The question is he's gonna have some rookie moments, but hey, that's part of the process. Unless he really just kind of stands out. So that's who I'm going to go with my 3. And we'll see what happens come July, especially when they put the pads on. But, we're not going to go into any predictions or anything right now, but we can just kind of focus on the rookies. And I think from what the article says here too, Voldy and Zoners, apparently, Asamoah sideline-to-sideline speed was plainly evident in non-contact practices, as was his confidence. He joked with an assistant coach that he wanted $5 every time he ran past someone, and he said, "I'm a rich man now because I keep passing them." So, hey, if he's a speedy linebacker. Watch out, man. I'm feeling good about this, especially now with the Vikings probably not re-signing, Anthony Barr, which, we're sad about. It is what it is. But, yeah, Zoners, What are your thoughts? Who do you think might make an impact for our Minnesota Vikings? And we're getting close to training camp, so we'll still have some Viking steaks and whatnot coming soon. So, all right, let's move on to our last Tater Tot Hot Take for today. Minnesota Twins. Wes Johnson decides to go to the LSU Tigers to be the pitching coach, apparently. Interesting. This is kind of weird, but that means that there is an opening. So, Voldy, we talked to this one coach not too long ago. If he's interested, I think the Twins should give him a call. Just saying. Coach Bo, you know who you are, Coach Bo. Come on. We'll see what happens. But anyway, with Wes Johnson leaving, Voldy, this is very odd. Very, very
little bit,
odd.
yeah.
The Twins are sitting pretty good right now in the division. They're losing right now 3-0. We'll get to that in a second. But I don't think I've ever seen this for MLB during the season. Voldy, what are your thoughts on Wes Johnson leaving the Twins for the
if it was going to happen to any team, it might as well be the Twins in that regard, or any Minnesota pro sports team for that matter. Yeah, this one's a little bit weird, but also the timing kind of coincides with looking at, the end of the college baseball season, College World Series coming to an end, and then you also throw in also a lot of coaching changes, new coaches being brought into different programs too. Obviously, with a program like LSU, they are definitely noteworthy. They are a big game. They are a big team and program as well that certainly brings its own accolades. Again, the timing was never going to be perfect because if you bring them in, if a coach joins at the end of the baseball or the Major League Baseball season, teams have already been back for a month and a half college-wise too. But if you leave at the start of the year, well, college baseball season is still going on right now. It's just, the timing was never going to be good. It's unfortunate because of the success recently that the Twins have had with their pitching staff too. And so a lot of these young guys coming up that know Wes Johnson and have been adjusting to his way of coaching too, it's going to be affected one way or the other. And I certainly hope for some of these young guys that have been making an impact in the rotation these last couple of years aren't going to be affected by it with whoever they decide to make the interim pitching coach, or if they decide to bring somebody else in. It's one thing that we'll definitely have to keep an eye on as well, because if the pitching starts to struggle, it's going to be unfortunate. And lo and behold, of course, the Twins get one of the best performances they do out of Sonny Gray this season, the day that is announced that Wes Johnson's going to leave. Of course, that's just usually how it goes. for any Minnesota pro sports team whatsoever. This time it's the Twins. But you know what? I think Wes Johnson, he went straight from college into the majors without progressing up as well, starting in the minor leagues and then making his way up straight from college to pro. I mean, you would think sooner or later that he would maybe take a head job somewhere, but being a pitching coach at LSU is certainly a pretty decent runner-up for that one. So, I mean, I think it's hopefully going to be a win-win for both sides, but right now Wes Johnson's looking on the better side of this deal right now.
Yeah. Why does this make me think that there was something else going on?
Right.
Why do I think that? Because I have something, I don't know, something doesn't feel right. And I say that because I just there's a lot of things that we've seen with this team, and they've struggled. They've done, they've struggled with pitching. But Wes Johnson actually has turned some things around. I mean, ever since he joined the staff, they were in ERA. They were in 2019. They were ranked 9th. In 2020, they were ranked 4th. So that's pretty good. But this past year, which was kind of a fluke year, and I know, Case, it is what it is. But
I'm getting bubbles blown at me right now.
Wow.
This is what's happening.
Oh, this is I didn't even know where's
boy.
there
God.
it is. Oh,
almost got one in the eye.
attacked by bubbles
geez.
on MinneZona Sports Live.
Get out of here. Be gone,
That's
demon.
a first.
Oh,
He just
God.
wants attention. But to finish it off, though, they're doing fine this year. They have a team ERA, Voldy, of 3.78. That ranks 11th in the majors. That's not bad.
Not bad.
So I don't think it's anything with that, but maybe there's something with the organization that he didn't like, or he saw this opportunity and was like, well, it's too good to pass up. I don't have anything against the Minnesota Twins, but maybe it's that. We don't know. But now the Twins are going to have some coaches split time here with the pitching, because it doesn't seem like they're going to hire another person while the season's going on. So they're just going to have some guys handle the duties. So anyway, so Wes Johnson gone. Twins are the Twins. And it's right now they're losing 3-0. They have a 5-game series here against Cleveland. Cleveland took the first game. Twins took the second. So this is kind of big because at first Cleveland had the lead, and then Cleveland goes on a 5-game losing streak. The Twins take a 3-game lead, 2-game lead, or whatever it's at. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of flip-flopping. So let's win this series, doggone it. Let's go. So with that being said, we're hoping that the Twins, this won't impact the Twins much with Wes Johnson. We're hoping that without Wes Johnson, I should say, and keep moving forward. So we'll see. All right, that's going to do it for Tater Tot Hot Take this week. Now the main event. Where are they now? We've got some good ones tonight, Voldy. You mentioned Craigbreslow last week during Voldy's Virtues when you're going through our former guys who leave Minnesota and get rings elsewhere club. And now I picked Rayedwards, former Minnesota Viking Rayedwards. So we got some good ones here tonight. We're going to give you all the details of where they're at now. So where are they now? Where'd they go? Where'd they go?
Check your milk carton. It's time for Where Are They Now?
All right, it is time for Where Are They Now? Like we said, we got two tonight. Rayedwards, Craigbreslow, two former Minnesota players. I have Rayedwards this week, so I'll hit it off here with former Minnesota Viking Ray Edwards. Now, a lot of you know that Ray Edwards was part of the Minnesota defensive line, which was very good during that time of about 2006 to 2011, I'd say. And not to mention, too, that the Williams Wall, Jared Allen was part of that as well, too. But, yeah, he's done pretty well. He did pretty well for our Minnesota Vikings. But there is more to the story with Mr. Ray Edwards. So he's a boxer, too. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he is a boxer. We're going to get into that in a second. But not only did he bring the hurt to his opponents boxing, but he brought some hurt to quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, when he was when he was starting up. But he was a 4th-round draft pick out of Purdue and played 5 seasons for our Minnesota Vikings and was also a part, like I said before, of the 2009 team and was the perfect, I still think to this day, is the perfect complement to Jared Allen. I mean, honestly, that's literally one of the best defensive lines outside of the Purple People Eaters, let's be honest. But there was still, Williams Wall. That's all I got to say. So his first few seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, he's a 4th-round draft pick. So you expect him maybe make an impact here and there. And he did. I mean, he definitely did. He had his first few seasons, he had 3 sacks his first. And then he had back-to-back 5-sack seasons. So, there's improvement each year here. So he's starting off his first 3 years pretty good. Now let's get to 2009, 2010. 2009, he definitely stepped his game up big time. He had 8.5 sacks that season in the regular season. Let's not forget, he did make a pretty big impact in a lot of those playoff games, especially against Dallas and especially against New Orleans. And that 2009 team, he had his best, season ever. I mean, he had 8.5 sacks, the perfect complement to Jared Allen, baby. So, you'd think after a year like that, this would turn out to be something very good for our Minnesota Vikings, right? Well, 2010 hits, and you all know the story after that. Things kind of fell apart. But, say this, Ray Edwards had 8 sacks in 2010. So all wasn't lost for Ray Edwards specifically, but the Vikings, it is what it is. But let's move on to 2011. Ray Edwards left Minnesota, and he signed a 5-year contract worth $30 million and $11 million guaranteed with who? Oh, the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons picked him up. Now, as I get into this, his run in Atlanta was not good at all. Ray Edwards definitely had some injuries. I think he was struggling. I think from what I understand, he was struggling with some mental health stuff, and obviously, we feel for him there and whatnot. But it wasn't good because he was getting outplayed by other D linemen on the Atlanta Falcons like Croy Bierman, John Abraham, Jonathan Babineau. If you're making that much money and not producing, he had 3.5 sacks his first year with Atlanta. You expect a guy getting paid $30 million to do a little bit more than that, right?
Right.
But things did not go well in 2012. I can tell you that. He was released by the Atlanta Falcons after not joining a team gathering, after he was asked several times as well to join the meeting. He decided not to. And I think after that, Mike Smith the team released him, I should say. And they labeled him as a bad apple, apparently. But I want to read into something. This was back in 2013, this story, and he started off boxing right after that. He said that he was labeled as a bad locker room guy, and then he said, when they say you're a bad apple, they don't want you on your team. Terrell Owens is evidence. Before Owens left the game, he was a 1,000-yard receiver, but he didn't get a job because people saying he's a bad person. It's hard to get second chances in the NFL because it's a product line coming out of college. And he said, I think Mike Smith, because me and him weren't on the best of terms, he felt someone was better than me, but I knew he wasn't. Players didn't agree with him. He just didn't like me. So a lot of controversy surrounding this with Rayedwards, but I'm not going to label him as the guy there's a lot of factors into it. But anyway, he's never returned to the NFL after that. But he starts up boxing. And you'd think, well, yeah, good luck with that. He did quite well. And
apparently.
if you didn't know, too, that he actually boxed in Minnesota, a lot of Minnesota venues at some casinos and things like that. But this is something that's really cool, though, too. His record is 12-1-1. That's good, man. That's really good. I mean, especially if you're starting off like that. I mean, he got his body right. I mean, not saying it. I mean, he was very in shape when he was with the Vikings and whatnot. But he was well conditioned and everything, and he was 12-1-1. The only loss, and it was by knockout, was in 2016, and I believe that's when he decided, okay, I'm done. But here's the next question. Where is he now? Well, he was actually featured on an episode of MTV's Catfish in 2020. Okay? Yeah, legitimately. And someone was using his photos to catfish somebody. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I found that out in 2020 during the pandemic and everything. Someone was using his photos and someone was getting catfished, thinking that was, Rayedwards. But other than that, there hasn't been really much talk with Rayedwards. But his Twitter is active, and he's tweeting a lot, and he's still in great shape too. So Rayedwards, former Minnesota Viking, played some good years for the Vikings. So maybe we get him on the show. Who knows? Who knows? Well, every time we've done this, Voldy, it seemed to get some people talking. So yeah, we'll see. All right, Voldy, your turn. Craigbreslow.
Yeah, we go from one guy that was using his body once he left Minnesota. Now we go to a guy who's been using his mind, quoted as the smartest man in baseball by Twins beat writer for the Star Tribune, Laval E. Neal, back in the day. Now, Craigbreslow, not really a household name with the Twins unless you do some real deep diving. Pitched 12 years in Major League Baseball, most of them with the Boston Red Sox, but did play parts of 3 seasons for the Twins as well. Couple 2008, 2009, and came all the way back 2017 before, kind of making a, if you want to do a little victory tour before hanging them up. Again, somewhat of an impact in his career post pitching, but a Yale graduate as well. So definitely not your average baseball player. He's got, something up there between the ears to make note of. In his career, man, he was a left-handed specialist out of the bullpen too. But
sure.
Pitched part of 2008 after coming over to the Twins, the whole season 2009, and also part of 2017. In his career with the Twins, 2-5, 3.75 earned run average, 84 innings pitched, 61 strikeouts, so 31 innings, 37 walks as well. Primarily used against left-handed batters as well. In 2008 alone, combining with his time with the Twins, he just allowed a 191 batting average against left-handed batters as well. And that was second best in the major leagues for AL relievers, I should say, in the American League for relievers. With the Twins, lefties just batted 183, so he actually did better with the Twins against left-handed batters too. For the Twins that, did win the American League Central, 2008, that would have been, I think that was game 163 where they didn't win the Central. But 2009, they definitely won it in that game too. But 2009 did struggle with a little bit of his control issues, with lefties hitting a little bit better against him. Just 17 appearances, did get put up on waivers, and Oakland did claim him off of waivers. It's actually a funny story too. The Twins weren't even quite sure if anybody would pick him up off waivers, as assistant GM at the time, Rob Antony, was quoted as saying, "We just lost a bullpen guy without trying to lose a bullpen guy," because he goes on to Oakland. Oakland has a pretty good second half of their season. They pick him up, and he ends up being in the postseason too. So in the most Minnesota's pro sports way ever, they lost a guy without actually trying to lose a guy. It's like, all right, let's just see what happens. It's like sticking your hand in the mouth of a lion. It's like, nah, he's not going to bite me. And then next thing you know, you've got no arm. What'd you expect? Stuff like that does happen. Post-Twins, a couple of stints with the Red Sox, including which nice magical run in 2013 with them winning a World Series. He was on the list of former Minnesota pro athletes that won titles after leaving Minnesota. Did end up pitching for San Diego, a couple of stints with Cleveland, a couple of stints with Oakland, Arizona, Miami, and then even pitched for Team Israel in the World Baseball Classic. In his career, 23 and 30, 345 earned run average, 442 career strikeouts as well. Not big gaudy numbers, but you know what? He earned his time in the league as well. 12 seasons, primarily out of the bullpen as a left-handed specialist to go and get a few guys out. Also, while his career on the mound did progress, 2008, before he joined the Twins as well, he actually started his own foundation, the Strike 3 Foundation. If you follow him on social media, you'll know about this. Breslow founded the Strike 3 Foundation as a way to heighten awareness, mobilize support, and raise funding for childhood cancer research as well. So that's a very important foundation. I remember that a few times with some of those special, interviews or whatever for Breslow. And he was a nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award for his work off the field charitable wise while he was with the Red Sox in 2013. He was the team's representative with the Strike 3 Foundation as well. But you know what? He ended up hanging them up in 2017 after his career did come to an end. And you would think, well, with any baseball player, that would be the end of it in baseball. Well, after his career did get wrapped up, he ends up talking with Theo Epstein, who was general manager, president as well for the Chicago Cubs. After his career finished in 2019, the Cubs actually hired him as Director of Strategic Initiatives for Baseball Operations, as I like to call it, Director of Stuff and Things, basically. That's what I kind of put that as a way to help Theo Epstein with database processes. I have no idea what that means. He's the Yale grad. I'm sure he knows exactly what we're talking about. But after, a couple of seasons, or at least a season and a half of being the Director of Strategic Initiatives for Baseball Operations, they move him to Director of Pitching, Special Assistant to the President and GM at the time, who was Theo Epstein. Actually, this was 2020, so it wasn't Theo Epstein anymore. And then also this past offseason, in November 2020, he's now serving as Assistant GM, Vice President, and I'm assuming Director of Pitching. It just said on his information as Assistant GM, VP, and Pitching. So could not be very much longer till we see Craig Breslow as a general manager somewhere for a Major League franchise, as that is where he remains currently in a role. So, you know what? Not, like you said, some of the moves on the field made him worthy enough to put on a uniform for 12 seasons with a handful of teams, was part of some good moments, and obviously a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. post-career-wise, some guys struggle with trying to figure out what they're going to do with the next chapter of their career. Craigbreslow is doing just fine. He's got his foundation. He's, assistant GM, vice president for the Chicago Cubs right now, and I assume also still just a director of pitching for that group as well. And things are looking up, as that's what Craigbreslow is up to nowadays.
Interesting. The Twins have an opening right now for pitching coach. So,
Interesting.
Just saying. Greg,
Just saying.
If you watch this, if you want to come back, we'd love to
Don't rule
have
it out.
And to be honest, I think you would address our pitching needs. So, fingers crossed. Yeah, that'll do it for Where Are They Now? We covered two Minnesota, former Minnesota players, athletes, Rayedwards, Craigbreslow. And then also, I forgot to add, the last time that Rayedwards boxed was in 2016.
Ooh, that's a while ago.
So that was a while ago, but he's doing fine now, and don't know where he's residing, but he's been to Minnesota for fights and stuff like that. So I'm happy that he kind of found his path there, and he did well, 12-1-1. That's a great record. So those are our guys, Craigbreslow, Rayedwards. Where Are They Now? Another fun one we had. All right, let's move on to Absurd or Approved. We're talking NHL. Oh, and then speaking of boxing, apparently AP, Le'Veon Bell, they're going to duke it out. What is going on? Not Peyton Manning, but Cooper Manning's son. He's going to Texas. And then keep the out your mouth. More on that. And then the Nets, NBA. There's a lot of talk with the Nets right now. We're going to get to that. So it's time for some Absurd or Approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, Voldy, Zoners, it's time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, the Stanley Cup Finals came to an end, of course, this early portion of the week with the Tampa Bay Lightning, the defending champions, 2 times over, falling to the Colorado Avalanche in 6 games, as after that being the first three-peat chance of the Tampa Bay Lightning, the first time that they've fallen in the Stanley Cup Final in quite some time as well, but falling short of the first three-peat since 1983. Asking a couple players, a couple of coaches as well for the Lightning, asking if this is the end of an era. Well, Lightning captain said in the loss in Game 6, who said we're done? Quoted as saying that, as he also went on to say Sunday night, the core is here, we've battled, we've been through everything you can think of, and for the most part, we found ways to come out on top. Now, if you really look at it as well, Tampa Bay's got a pretty decent look at it as well. I know that they've got the strong core coming back. Goaltending is there. They've got the experience in the big games. They've got an older group of guys, but still some younger guys that have really come through to help out as of late. Some guys that'll be coming back, of course, Stamkos, Pat Maroon. You've got Anthony Cirelli and Eric Kernack as well that did battle through some injuries. Braden Point, who missed out with a lower body injury for much of this series. Andre Palat, Nick Paul, who have been steady, along with Jan Ruda as well, that are under contract for the upcoming season as well. But looking at the core amount of players that Tampa Bay's got coming back, with this being, potentially a one-off season with the Lightning not hosting Lord Stanley, you think, is it absurd or approved that Tampa Bay will be able to make it back to the Stanley Cup Final next season?
Oh, I definitely think they can. People are like, oh, they fell short of a three-peat. It hasn't been done since 1983, blah, 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 blah. Well, Steven Stamkos isn't worried. He says, the core is here. We've battled. We've been through everything you can think of, and for the most part, we found a way to come out on top. You still have a guy like that who's still is an elite player in this league, and you have the core, like you mentioned. And I think that John Cooper has done a great job with this team. And there's a reason why they've been to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times, won 2 out of 3 these past couple years is damn good. It's just a matter of keeping everybody healthy and keeping the core intact, as we've been saying here. I don't believe it is, because I still think that they're still an elite team. The question is are they going to win it? Because Colorado is looking pretty good, because they built, rightfully so. Okay, rightfully so. It's okay. I know we're all wild here, but you got to watch out for them. How are you going to get past those guys? Because they took it to you. I think it was game 2, if I'm not mistaken. They had the flurry of goals and whatnot, 7-0 or 7-1 or whatever it was. But I think they are going to make it. They have the core in place. Stamkos, pretty much leading the way for these guys. They'll be fine, and I think they will come out Eastern Conference, right? That's what I got.
Yeah, out of the East.
Eastern Conference. So they'll come out of the East. We're feeling good about that. I think they will, but we're not thrilled about it, but I don't know. They look better than a lot of the other teams in the Eastern Conference. So, all right, Voldy, what do you think?
It's hard to pick against Tampa Bay, just because of the fact that, like we've said, they've been to the mountaintop twice, and they just continue to find ways to win, especially when they got shellacked in game 2 against Colorado. They came right back and stuck it right to them as well. Quick update as well. Twins tied up at 3 apiece.
Oh, let's go.
2-run home run from Kirilloff, and then a solo shot from Gio Urshela as well. So there we go. Using the long ball out in the Lind right now. But getting back to my point against, with Tampa Bay, again, the Eastern Conference, I feel like is not as wide open as people think it could be, because saw some heat this year with Carolina. New York made a little bit of noise against the Rangers, the Rangers made a little bit of noise. Boston's a team that can be hit or miss. I know that they let go their head coach. They've got a new head coach coming in this year. There are a few other teams that could be on the up this coming season. Florida, the Panthers, they had a very nice second half of the season for them. They've got a new coach coming in, see what they can kind of retain this year. Things are looking up in the East, but I feel like Tampa, it's their conference to lose, basically. That's the way I'm looking at it as well. So is it possible of them making it? If they can stay healthy, that's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of long postseason that they've had the last couple of years. And unfortunately, the turnaround time from end of season to the start of training camp isn't as long as people think, because a lot of these teams start getting back together September, October, and the first games, they're like late October into early November, which is crazy to think about, because it's going to be July 4th weekend, and the Stanley Cup Final just wrapped up on Sunday. It's just they need to work on that schedule a lot more, or something like that. Bigger break in between from the regular season into the postseason, shorten up those series a lot more, and that's just a whole thing within itself too. Is it possible? I think it's got my stamp of approval. I think Tampa Bay will definitely get back to the final next year.
I know it's easy to say, but barring any injuries, I'd say they're the top tier in the Eastern Conference. So, but Avs are good, so could be a repeat of this past year's. We'll see. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, in a move to keep themselves relevant, a la Jake Paul, a la basically anybody who's been picking up the boxing gloves to do anything nowadays, Adrian Peterson and Le'Veon Bell are going to square off against each other in a boxing ring. That's going to be coming up July 30th, actually. That's going to be in Los Angeles. The match is part of the event called Social Gloves 2. It's being organized by a YouTuber named Austin McBroom, so definitely we'll have to keep our eyes tuned out for that. But apparently contracts are being signed where Adrian Peterson and Le'Veon Bell will be fighting against each other come next month as well. We already know Adrian Peterson bounced around with a handful of teams the last 5 seasons. He's played with New Orleans, Arizona, Washington, Detroit, Tennessee, and Seattle the past 5 years, in which he played just 4 games this season, 3 with the Titans and one with Seattle. I completely forgot that he played for Seattle for that one game.
Yeah, one game.
And then Le'Veon Bell, his whole situation, splitting time with Baltimore and Tampa Bay this season, but also the whole saga that he had with Pittsburgh and the Jets as well. Look, if these guys aren't going to get it done on the field, they might as well try and beat each other with their fists, apparently. But who do you got winning this fight coming up here next month?
Oh, my gosh. It's AP. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. A lot of people kind of here's the thing with Le'Veon Bell. Ever since the whole Pittsburgh Steelers drama and everything, he's been a complete and utter bust. The guy goes to the Jets, stinks it up, not worth the money. And then when that went down, Adam Gase wasn't very good either. But he goes to Kansas City. He has an opportunity there to kind of maybe do something. Didn't do much. Mm-hmm. He rips Andy Reid, apparently. And then, like you said, he went to the Ravens. And he did a couple things here and there. But yeah. Anyway, that separate from, his NFL career is definitely taken a nosedive. But I will say, with Adrian Peterson, the guy's built. The guy is he's still built. Maybe he's definitely lost a step or two. But I'm taking AP 10 times out of 10 against Le'Veon Bell. And if you want to call it like, oh, that's ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. AP's a big dude, okay? And the fact that there is going to be a boxing match between these two guys, it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. I think it's ridiculous. But, with money and everything like that, and maybe the zoners know this or whoever, who the hell is Austin McBroom? I've never heard of this guy.
Someone's got to know him. It's probably like the same people as like Mr. Beast or something like that. People are just making millions of dollars for doing the dumbest of stuff nowadays.
Jake Paul guy type of
Logan
thing.
Paul.
Whatever Paul. I don't give a damn
Both
about
of them.
those
Both
guys.
of them.
Anyway, I'm taking AP in this boxing match. I think he's still got some speed with the hands, but I think when he connects, man, oof, I think Le'Veon could be KO'd. So I'm taking AP. Foldy, what do you think?
If this was a handshake contest, I'd give to AP 10 times out of 10. That dude's got some serious grip. AP is 37 now. Le'Veon Bell, he's no spring chicken. He is 30 years old, but I'm looking at this from the perspective, maybe AP's got the size, and you get Le'Veon Bell is a little bit more shifty underneath too, maybe sneak behind a couple of tackles here and there. From the boxing perspective, I think Le'Veon might have a bit of a slight edge. I know that he's been doing a little bit of boxing for training reasons. Frank Gore also did a little bit of boxing as well once he decided to hang him up. I'm not saying that Frank Gore and Le'Veon Bell are the same guy, but, you get some of those squattier, a little bit more powerful backs compared to AP where he's got the length, he's got the size, he can try and run you over. I may have to go Le'Veon here. If he can move around a little bit, use the hands, maybe work the body a little bit, and try to get AP, because AP is going to try and, get you in close, or maybe try to use that reach and try to get you with a quick jab. But Le'Veon, if he tries to stay underneath, protect the head and the body while trying to work the body against AP, try to get up underneath the hands. I can see this one. If Le'Veon can make it past 3 rounds, I think it'll certainly be in his favor a little bit. Conditioning is really the big thing. I'm no boxing expert. I'm trying to sound like a boxing expert here, but I feel like I'm holding my own right now. But I'm gonna go Le'Veon on this one. I want AP. Maybe try and score a big knockout against Le'Veon, but I gotta go Le'Veon Bell here.
All right. Hey, we got to be different somehow. But AP, I got you. All right, I got you. I believe in you. I believed in you when you came.
I still don't want to spar with either of them. I'll tell you.
Well, right. I wouldn't want to either, but definitely I'd be more scared of AP because word is that his handshakes literally break
vicious.
your hand. They're vicious. So, no, just saying. But I'll go with. I'm going with AP. Voldy's going Le'Veon Bell. There we go. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, it was announced earlier this week, this past week, I should say, that another blue chip quarterback in the chapter of the Manning family, son of Cooper Manning, Arch Manning, top prospect in the the collegiate ranks soon to be, has announced that he will be going to the University of Texas. Horns down. And that's all I've got to say to that. Horns
More
down.
on that later.
Obviously, he did have other schools very interested. Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Clemson, Virginia as well. At Isidore Newman High School in New Orleans, where his family is very well established, well known. Of course, his two uncles, NFL quarterbacks. His grandpa, Archie Manning as well. Number one prospect in the class of 2023 entering his senior year. Decided to go with the Horns and under Coach Steve Sarkisian as well to commit to the school. And that brings out a lot of excitement as well. Coach from Sarkisian as well. Matthew McConaughey, who is a big-time supporter of Texas.
All right.
Vince Young, Kevindurant, who went to Texas for a year as well, throwing their support towards the football program, and of course their new assignee in that recruiting class. But looking at it as well with the whole body of work that could potentially be, is it absurd or approved that Arch Manning will be a key into turning Texas relevant once again, if and when he does decide, once he gets the opportunity to go under center for the Longhorns?
Ooh, that's a tough one, because I feel like Sarkisian hasn't had the best college career. There's been some highlights, don't get me wrong. He's been in the NFL. He's done some good things there too. But it's a tough call. But having that last name, I think definitely that's definitely going to help you. It can't hurt you, for one. From what I've seen from Arch Manning, he is so much more mobile than Eli and Peyton. Oh my gosh. I mean, I wonder what they think about that. It's like, well, why didn't I have that one? Peyton and Eli, why didn't I have? I mean, Eli did have that in the Super Bowl when he got through all those Patriots guys. I know, sore subject. But I think I'm kind of turning towards approved here. And the reason why I say that is because under the right leadership, Cooper Manning finally getting his time to shine through his son. No, but Cooper Manning's a funny guy, by the way. But I think he can definitely turn this around. He can be a dual threat. He's got football in his veins. I mean, there's a reason why McConaughey, Durant, as well as Vince Young. Vince Young, another Texas great as well. I'm leaning more towards approved here. I don't think it's going to be like, that he's going to win a national championship after national championship. No, but I think he's going to kind of turn the corner in some aspect. He's going to get to some good bowl games. We'll go with that. But I'm gonna go towards approved here with Arch Manning. So good luck to you, Arch Manning. Voldy, what do you think?
I can see this from a couple different perspectives. I see it right off the bat for Arch Manning to go to a program that is, I don't want to say they're fleggling, but they're not as good as they used to be, because we know the legacy of Texas, obviously, with VY, Colt McCoy back in the day well. Yeah, Colt McCoy, what could have been there if he would have stayed healthy in that national championship game? True. We may be talking about a whole different – who knows if Alabama is the team that they are now if Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt early in that first half against that national championship game at the Rose Bowl. Just throwing that out there as well. If he stays healthy, I think they win that national championship. But again, talking about Texas, again, this is a program that he can definitely – mold his game, pro-style offense with Steve Sarkisian, offensive-minded coach, been a offensive coordinator for years, tried to be a head guy, ended up being a severe alcoholic. I would certainly hope he's off the sauce right now, but that's neither here nor there at this point talking football. But I think that he can take this program and make it his own, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can put himself out there without having to be compared to, this guy here in the SEC playing for Georgia or Alabama, LSU. Well, he's got to go up against those guys. A couple of years from now, Texas is going to be going to the SEC. So maybe by the time he's a sophomore, he's a junior. Maybe going into his senior year as well, Archmanning will be competing not only for an SEC championship, but getting a lot stronger looks at possibly, if not national championship qualifications or into the the college football playoff, New Year's Six Bowl, or even as a top pick in the NFL draft. There's a lot of what ifs right now with Archmanning. I mean, he's just going to be going into his senior year of high school, so a lot of things could happen, a lot of things going on. I want to give this my stamp of approval with Archmanning being the guy, because anytime a Manning has been at a program, things have kind of turned around for them, whether it be at Ole Miss with Eli and Cooper, or Archie back in the day, or even Tennessee with the likes of Peyton back in the day. There's been some success from those programs whenever a Manning has had a number on the field as well, and also being able to sling the rock, or in Cooper's case, catch the ball as well. They've certainly had an impact.
Yeah, I think it's and like you said, a lot of things might change, but still, I still want to say, horns down. Just want to say it, just because people are like, oh, you can't do that anymore. Horns down. See, horns down. That's all we're doing. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there.
But if you did,
yeah,
horns down, McConaughey.
But again, I mean, I think he's going to be good. I really do.
I think so. I hope so.
I hope so, too. Yeah, it'd be nice to see another Manning again. So, all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, if you've ever said Ohio State University and been around one of their very many annoying fans, i.e. Joe Clements, just throwing that out there, you probably heard them correct you and say, the Ohio State University. Well, with that being said, the is now being trademarked by Ohio State University. As initially in 2019, there was a trademark that was initially applied for in August of 2019 for successfully registering the trademark the for I believe it was for clothing and apparel that was printed by Ohio State University. Now, according to a trademark attorney and founder of Gerben Intellectual Property in Washington, D.C., who noted it is common for universities to protect their logos and emblems, but it is highly unusual to trademark such a vague word as the word the, T-H-E, the, basically. It came down that there was a ruling most recently that the trademark for the, or the, T-H-E, was approved by, I believe it was the trademark office that allowed the Ohio State University to become the Ohio State University and be able to trademark, as getting the trademark issued does not guarantee that Ohio State will be the only university to use T-H-E, the, on apparel. In the first 5 years that any trademark is registered, another party can counter with a petition for cancellation on the grounds that this doesn't function as a trademark. So it's not fully guaranteed right now that Ohio State University has any legal ramifications and also protection from other schools using the. It just means that things are looking a lot better for them on that side, because obviously everybody knows Ohio State University, the Ohio State University, and of course their neighbors to the north decided to play a little bit of trolling as well with the initial presentation of the as a trademark. Well, the University of Michigan decided to tweet back at them saying that they were going to put out a trademark of University of Michigan, not just Michigan whatsoever, with the trademark as a caption as well. So with that being said, with the possibility of this fully coming to fruition, is it absurd or approve the legitimacy of Ohio State getting the trademark for the THE?
Well, before we get into that, do we have an update on the trademark for Tater Tot Hot Take from our creative consultants, Sarah Ann?
Working on that. So we'll leave that at that.
I just realized that.
Details.
Yeah, details. We'll get to that. But let's be honest. And I'm not taking a shot at Joe Clements. I'm really not. But I think Ohio State's trying to flex their muscles a little bit, and
A little bit too much.
and a little bit, stroking their ego a little bit.
A little bit
They're feeling themselves. Honestly, call it what you want. You can have the trademark. It doesn't matter, whatever. You're still gonna do it. That's fine. It's like horns down. People are still gonna do horns down, But with them doing the trademark thing, I just think it's a little absurd. Just because it's like, who gives a damn? The only thing that I give a damn about is getting a trademark for Tater Tot Hot Take. That's all I care about. But Michigan kind of trolling that, doing the of. Now that's entertaining. Now that's the part of it where I'm like, okay, this is kind of entertaining. I like how they're kind of going back and forth with this. So it makes for great content. I will say that. But them trying to be like, you have to say we've trademarked it, so you have to adhere to the rules. No, I don't. I can call it whatever the hell I want. What are you gonna do? Sue me? No, you can't do that. Good luck.
Exactly.
So, it's really, I think it's a little absurd. They're just kind of, showing like, hey, look at us type of thing. So, whatever. I think it's absurd. Voldy, what do you think?
I mean, it's pretty absurd just because of the fact that they would even think about this in the first place and try to think that there would be any success to come out of it. Hey, kudos to them. It might have actually worked. But the fact of that they went through the trouble to go through this, file the paperwork to trademark for their purposes of use, it's absurd. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. There's just no way going around this. Obviously, people are still going to say The Ohio State University, but then people are going to say back and make it a little bit more mockery for their random, obscure colleges as well, just because, that's what people do to poke fun at Ohio State one way or another.
Yep, I agree. It's like, the U of M, it's like, well, you can't call it the U, because the U is Miami. Well, when's the U ever since 2000, early 2000s or something like that?
2001, probably.
Yeah, they've struggled. But I get it from that. Yeah, they can
talk about a program that needs a revitalization. Yeah. Boy, Miami. Ugh.
They go after revitalization from revitalization. I feel like every
never works.
2
Maybe
years.
Archmanning should have gone there.
Yeah, that's a good point. You never know. You get some more recruits to go there that want to play with them. So.
Probably get beat up by 30 points a game down there in the ACC.
But throw for a lot and score a lot, maybe.
True. Very true. So.
All right, last one, Voldy.
Well, we do know of some NBA action as well, going back to that. The potentiality, if that is a word, it just is created now. The Brooklyn Nets might be preparing themselves to lose not only Kyrieirving, but also Kevin Durant as well here this offseason, of course. They did have to get rid of a few people with the likes of Kyrieirving reportedly being granted permission to seek a sign-in trade. A lot of action and eyes towards the likes of Kyrie and LeBron James reuniting out in Los Angeles. And Kevin Durant's future in Brooklyn is also uncertain, especially if Kyrie leaves. And, Kevin Durant's just the lone man on the totem pole once again with now, of course, earlier this year with James Harden being traded to Philadelphia back in February. So there's quite a possibility that the Nets would be starting at not even square one, like square -10 without KD or Kyrie in the fold for them, especially after a run that they had this postseason. They did get beat up by Boston, so I don't know how much of a run you want to have success with that. But the whole situation, we know obviously KD being hurt, Kyrie and his off-the-court issues, obviously the whole vaccine thing and not being able to play and eventually coming back and, performing at a pretty decent level. The possibility of both these players leaving and going to different teams is certainly something to keep an eye on as well. Is it absurd or prove the Nets would be better without KD and Kyrie based on what we've seen in the past with both of their performances on and off the court?
Well, I've been kind of vocal about Kyrie, and, the fact that he opted in kind of surprised me. I feel ever since he left Cleveland, and I think I said this before, but ever since he left Cleveland, there's just been nothing but controversy with him.
Oh, yeah.
And you wonder if there's something, if it's a mental health thing or things like that. But to be honest, I think he's just being a jackass. I mean, I'm being honest here. The guy just, you can't trust him. You can't trust Kyrie. I'm going to get to KD in a second. Because there's been a multitude of coaches, players. James Harden wasn't traded because, wasn't traded because they could get better. He got traded to Brooklyn because he wanted to play with KD. He wanted to play with Kyrie. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work because Kyrie decided to cause controversy. This is very similar, and we love this guy, but it's very similar to the I play when I want to play, and we all know who said that with Randy Moss, right? And that's kind of how I feel with Kyrie. Ever since he joined the Brooklyn Nets, he has missed so many games during his career. When he's playing, he's great. He is one of the best point guards in the NBA. No doubt about it. But can you trust him to play a full season? You can't. You cannot trust him. They're better off moving on from him because ever since he joined, a lot of controversy. Vaccine, whole slew of other things, going back and forth with Boston fans too, I think is like, oh, you told me, enough's enough type of thing. It's like, welcome to Boston, Kyrie. But let's get to KD for a second, briefly. You're better with KD than you are Kyrie. I can tell you that much. KD's going to work his tail off. KD's always been that type of guy. Does he get controversial via the internet? Sure. He tweets too much. He goes after Chuck. He goes after some other people as well. But I believe that KD gives you a better chance because how can you trust the guy next to him? Now, the guy that's willing to play with him, KD and Kyrie, they've got a good friendship and whatnot. But shoot, does KD even trust him? If I'm KD, I'd be kind of like, I might want to rethink this. So that's a possibility with KD. But I would. It's kind of a two-part for me, Voldy. I'd say it's absurd, if they would be better with Kyrie, but it's just got my stamp of approval that they'd be better with KD. So if that makes any sense, if we got that going with it, but that's how I would look at it. But I don't know. If you're a Brooklyn fan, I bet you're just sick of it right about now. So
right,
Voldy, what do you think?
I mean, I look at this. I mean, honestly, I think Nets are better off without either of them.
Okay.
Kyrie, great player. Does he get too into it? Absolutely. Is he allowed to voice his opinion? 1,000,000 times, yes. But, I hate to say, ever since you won the championship, you've put yourself on this pedestal. And what have you done since? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you played with Boston. That was great. Played for the Nets. That was great. But what have you done since then? Literally nothing. You're more known for your antics on the court and off the court than the performances that you've had. It's unfortunate because he's a great player, one of the best out there, for his position too. But literally, I want you to clip this for social media. I want you to tweet it to Kyrie. I want you to tweet it to KD as well. I want them to respond to us and let us know that we are full of it, because that is the type of reaction I want. I want you to show us something. Because with KD, I mean, we're more accustomed to seeing him hurt, sitting on the bench, to actually, unfortunately, playing as well. KD, obviously he won a couple titles in Golden State, but him being the guy hasn't been his thing since OKC. And even then, he had Harden, he had Westbrook, making it all the way to the finals too, literally 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Yes, he won a couple titles with Clay, with Steph, with Draymond out in Golden State, and yes, a ring chaser. But look, you got to get the job done one way or another. Is he a fantastic player? When he's healthy. Like, bro, let's get healthy. Let's, get your body right and start doing something. I hate to say that they're a locker room cancer or anything, but look, I'm not seeing a lot of positives out of them right now to say that this team can compete for a championship in Brooklyn, because like the East, like the whole NBA is just one log jam after another. You think, oh, let's take them out west, play for Phoenix or something like that. It's going to be a log jam out there, I'll tell you, out in the Western Conference. Sticking to the East, it's not getting much easier as well. Who knows? Maybe they take it overseas or something, win a couple of titles. No, but that's not going to happen.
No.
I think the Nets and the for the sake of KD and Kyrie, I think it's approved. I think they'd be better off. Need a clean break. The less controversy, the better. Are they going to be without some star power and the attendance and fans are going to be dwindling? Yes, but look, for the sake of the franchise, I think everybody just needs to take a step back and look at the greater good here. I think it's my stamp of approval. The Nets are better off with both of them, without both of them.
Well, let me say this: we will post this on time. I do want them to respond, because you know what? We want to hear from you. Let's stop the complaining. Let's stop the tweeting. Let's hear from you. Let's get your perspective. Yeah, let's come on the show.
Kyrie, KD, come on the show. Tell us we're full of it. You can swear at us all you want. Yeah. Do it.
Please.
Show me something.
Call me an idiot. I don't care. I'm just saying, from what I've been seeing from you, mostly Kyrie. I'm fine with KD. I've always been fine with KD, mostly. I still think he tweets a little too much and gets in his feelings a little bit.
Hey, it is what it is.
But I mostly want to talk to Kyrie, because there's something wrong. There's just something wrong. I don't know. But anyway, hopefully we can make that. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, great job with ARA this week. Voldy, a lot of good ones this week. A lot of good ones. I enjoyed that a lot. It's time for some Shield shout-outs. We got a birthday to get to, guys. We got a birthday. So let's get it going with some Shield shout-outs.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Shield Shoutouts.
No, we're not done yet. I will say that. I accidentally hit our outro, but we're not done yet. We got Shield shoutouts. So, Voldy, who you shouting out tonight?
Well, I got a few on the back burner, but we first off got to wish a happy belated birthday to the Kerf Doctor as well. Hopefully he had a magical, fantastical time with his birthday the other day. So happy belated birthday to the Kerf Doctor as well. I do have to throw a couple Shield shout-outs. Of course, hopefully everybody has a wonderful, safe, and fantastic holiday weekend. Happy early Canada Day, which will be this Friday as well. Hence the get up here for tonight. Happy Independence Day as well. That'll be on Monday for those that'll be able to enjoy a nice holiday weekend. Hopefully they all do so safely, responsibly, and enjoy themselves all together as well. But with the Colorado Avalanche also winning the Stanley Cup, got to throw a couple Shield shout-outs as well. Former Minnesota Wild players Nico Sturm and Darcy Kemper winning a Stanley Cup, adding themselves to the list that is of former Minnesota Pro athletes that have won titles after leaving Minnesota. So we can add them to the list of this year to join alongside with Andrew Wiggins in 2022. A couple longtime players winning their first Stanley Cups as well. Former Minnesota Gopher, a defenseman as well, 15 years in the league, first Stanley Cup. Eric Johnson winning his first Stanley Cup. Also, through a couple other guys, Darren Helm, who has won his first Stanley Cup since, I think it was 2008. So 14 years since he last won a Stanley Cup, got to hold it up. Jack Johnson, after a long battle that he's been dealing with his career, finally winning another Stanley Cup for Jack Johnson, and a whole bunch of other guys as well that got to hoist Lord Stanley. Left a little bit of damage as well before you even get into the locker room, too. Yeah. If you've seen the big old dent that they had in the side of the cup as well. But a lot worse things have happened to the Stanley Cup as well. So big shout out to those guys, but not the Colorado Avalanche. No. Still hate the Avalanche. Still hate Tampa Bay as well. But again, one of these teams had to win. It might as well be a team that's got a couple former Wild players, and yeah. So that's going to do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
Love it. Yeah, go Wild. That's all we got to say.
Yep.
Yep. But yes, happy birthday to the Kerf Doctor. It's hard to believe. I mean, he's 28. I'm 28. Voldy's 28. We're getting old, man. We're getting old. But Kerf Doctor's, I think, having a DQ cake right about now. So you better
yummy.
save me a slice. That's all I got to say. So if you're watching Kerf Doctor, I still want a slice of that DQ cake. Come on, man. That's good. Anyway, great job with Shield Shoutouts as always. Voldy, and how we usually end off the show is merch, people. Merch. We have merch. Shirts. The regular, obviously the regular, $20, $5 shipping. But we still have XLs, extra larges available, people. Our limited edition, $20, $5 shipping. They're fantastic. Dan and Mikey got theirs. They love them. They're awesome. We really enjoy them as well. And then make sure you check out our hats. We still got some hats available. I got some people that want some hats. I'll definitely get the list to you here soon. $20, $5 shipping for those bad boys. They are awesome as well. Look at that. Perfect. We love it. And anyway, we still got stickers too. Stickers, very, very cheap stickers. They're very good though. 5 out of 5 stars. $3 for these bad boys right here.
Yep.
The small ones, you know the deal. $2 for these bad boys as well. So we've got plenty. We'll give them to you, and yeah, because we can, because we like it. So anyway, thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for their help with the stickers. They are fantastic. And then make sure you check out W2 Performance. Will Rattel, our guy. www.w2performance.com to check out everything he's got going on. Check out Jack O'Keefe, Jack's Junkyard. Breaking into the league with Sam Gabrielli, Ryan Martin, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the victorious P.O.D. Football starting up. Ryan Walters and Jack Vickers as well. So we'll be getting those guys on here too as well. So anyway, that is going to conclude episode 113 for this week. After the 4th here, yeah, we'll see if there's some more fireworks. There's some free agency going on with the Wolves. Obviously, NHL still getting going here. So there's going to be some moves. And the Vikings starting up training camp. So we're getting out of the abyss a little bit, Voldy. We're getting out of the abyss. So make sure you just keep tuning in with us, and we're going to have some more fun. So anyway, remember, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.